Today we're going to hear from The Path of Perfection by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And we're reading chapter 5. Let's see what it says here. Chapter 6. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can repeat after me. Prasanta, Manasam, Hi Enam, Yoginam, Sukham, Uttamam, Upaiti, Santa, Rajasam, Brahma, Bhutam, Akalmasam. Translation: the yogi whose mind is fixed on me, meaning Krishna, verily attains the highest happiness by virtue of his identity with Brahman, Brahman meaning Krishna. He is liberated, his mind is peaceful, his passions are quieted, and he is freed from sin. Bhagavad Gita, verse 6.27. And it says, Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmasa sukhena brahmasam sparsam atyantam sukham asnute. And you can repeat after me. Steady in the self, being freed from all material contamination. The yogi achieves the highest perfectional stage of happiness, in touch with the supreme consciousness, meaning Krishna. Steady in the self. You can repeat, steady in the self. Being freed from all material contamination. The yogi achieves the highest perfectional stage of happiness, in touch with the supreme consciousness. So here is the perfection. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me meaning Krishna. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me. Since Krishna is speaking, the me refers to Krishna. If I am speaking and saying, give me a glass of water, I do not intend that the water be supplied to someone else. We must therefore clearly understand that since Bhagavad Gita is being spoken by Sri Krishna, when he says unto me, he means unto Krishna. Unfortunately, there are many commentators who deviate from these clear instructions. I do not know why. Their motives are no doubt nefarious. Nefarious meaning they want to be rascals and not tell the truth of who Krishna is. Sarvam bhutastam atmanam, sarva bhutani chatmani, ikshate yoga yuktatma, sarvatma samadarshana. A true yogi observes me, meaning Krishna, in all beginnings, in all beings, and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized man sees me everywhere. Bhagavad Gita 6.29. Sarva bhuta stam atmanam. A true yogi observes me, meaning Krishna, in all beings. How is this possible? Some people say that all beings are Krishna, and that therefore there is no point in worshiping Krishna separately. Consequently, such people take to the humanitarian activities, claiming that such work is better. They say, why should Krishna be worshipped? Krishna says that one should seek Krishna in every being. Therefore, let us serve Daridya Narayana, the man in the street. Such misinterpretations do not know, such interpreters do not know the proper techniques which have to be learned under a bona fide spiritual master. A true yogi, as explained before, is the devotee of Krishna, and the most advanced devotee goes forth to preach Krishna consciousness. Why? Because he sees Krishna in all beings. He sees Krishna in all beings. How is this? Because he sees that all beings are part and parcel of Krishna. He also understands that since these beings have forgotten Krishna, it is his duty to awaken them to Krishna consciousness. Sometimes missionaries go forth to educate primitive or uneducated people just because they see that they are human beings and so deserve to be educated in order to understand the value of life. This is due to the missionary's sympathy. The devotee is similarly motivated. He understands that everyone should know himself to be part and parcel of Krishna. The devotee understands that people are suffering due to their forgetfulness of Krishna. Thus, the devotee sees Krishna in everything. He is not under the illusion that everything has become Krishna. Rather, he sees every living being as the son of God, or Krishna. If I say that this boy is the son of Mr. Johnson, do I mean that this boy is Mr. Johnson himself? I may see Mr. Johnson in this boy because this boy is his son, but the distinction remains. If I see every living being as the son of Krishna, I see Krishna in every being. This should not be difficult to understand. It is neither an association nor a vision, but a fact. When a devotee sees a cat or a dog, he sees Krishna in him. He knows that the cat, for instance, is a living being, and that due to his past deeds, he has received the body of a cat. This is due to his forgetfulness. The devotee helps the cat by giving it some Krishna prasada, so that someday the cat will come to Krishna consciousness. This is seeing Krishna in the cat. The devotee does not think, oh, here is Krishna. Let me embrace this cat and serve this cat as God. Such thinking is nonsensical. If one sees a tiger, he does not say, oh, here is Krishna. Come on, please eat me, O tiger. The devotee does not embrace all beings as Krishna, but rather sympathizes with every living being because he sees all beings as part and parcel of Krishna. In this way, the true yogi observes me, meaning Krishna, in all beings. This is real vision. Whatever is done in Krishna consciousness, knowingly or unknowingly, will have its effect. Children who bow down or try to vibrate Krishna's names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, or clap during Kirtana, are actually accumulating so much in their bank account of Krishna consciousness. Fire will act, whether one is a child or an adult. If a child touches fire, the fire will burn. The fire does not say, oh, I will not burn him. He is a child and does not know. No, the fire will always act as fire. Similarly, Krishna is the Supreme Spirit, and if a child partakes in Krishna consciousness, he will be affected. Krishna will act, whether the child knows or does not know. Every living being should be given a chance to partake of Krishna consciousness, because Krishna is there and will act. Therefore, everyone is being invited to come and take Krishna prasadam, because this prasadam will someday take effect. We should be careful not to make the mistake of thinking that everyone is Krishna. Rather, we should see Krishna in everyone. Krishna is all-pervading. Why is he to be seen only in human beings? As stated in Brahma Samhita, he is also present within the atom. Andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam. The word paramanu means atom, and we should understand that Krishna is present within every atom. A true yogi observes me, meaning Krishna, in all beings and also sees every being in me. How does the yogi see every being in me? This is possible because the true yogi knows that everything that we see is Krishna. We are sitting on this floor or on this carpet, but in actuality, we are sitting on Krishna. We should know this to be a fact. How is this carpet Krishna? It is Krishna because it is made of Krishna's energy. The Supreme Lord has various energies, of which there are three primary divisions: material energy, spiritual energy, and marginal energy. Parasya Saktir Vividai Vastruyate. We living entities are marginal energy. The material world is material energy, and the spiritual world is spiritual energy. We are marginal energy in the sense that we can be either spiritually or materially situated. There is no third alternative. Either we become materialistic or spiritualistic. As long as we are in the material world, we are seated on the material energy, and therefore we are situated in Krishna, because Krishna's energy is not separate from Krishna. A flame contains both heat and illumination, two energies. Neither the heat nor the illumination are separate from the flame. Therefore, in one sense, heat is fire, and illumination is fire, but they can be distinguished. Similarly, this material energy is also Krishna. And although we are thinking that we are sitting on this floor, we are actually sitting on Krishna. Therefore, it is stated, the self-realized man sees Krishna everywhere. Seeing Krishna everywhere means seeing every living being as well as everything else in relationship to Krishna. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 7.8, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna how he can be seen in various manifestations. Rasoham apsukonteya pravasmi sasisurayo pranava sarvavedesu sabde ke porasam risu. O son of Kunti, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in man. Water is drunk by all living entities and is needed by birds, beasts, and man. It is not only used for drinking, but for washing and for cultivating plants as well. A soldier on the battlefield can understand how important water is. When fighting, soldiers become thirsty, and if they have no water, they die. Once a person has learned the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, whenever he drinks water, he sees Krishna. And when does a day pass when we do not drink water? This is the way of Krishna consciousness. I am the light of the sun and the moon. So whether in the day or the night we see either sunshine or moonshine, how then can we forget Krishna? This then is the way of perfect yoga. We have to see Krishna everywhere and at all times. Yomam pasyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mayi pasyati, tasyaham na pranasyami, sachame na pranasyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Bhagavad Gita 6.30. This is Sada Tad Bhava Bhavita, always remembering Krishna. If we practice living in this way, we never lose Krishna and are never lost to Krishna. And at the time of death, we are therefore sure to go to Krishna. If we are not lost to Krishna, where can we go but to Krishna? In the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, Konteya pratijanihi nami bhakta pranasyati. Bhagavad Gita 9.31. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Simply don't lose sight of Krishna. That is the perfection of life. We can forget everything else, but we should never forget Krishna. If we can remember Krishna, we are the richest of men, even though people may see us as very poor. Although Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami were learned scholars and very opulent ministers, they adopted the poor life of mendicants. In his Sri Sad Goswami Astaka, verse number 4, Srinivasa Acharya thus describes the 6 Goswamis. Tyakvaturnam asesha mandala patishrenam sada tuchavat bhutvadina ganesha ko karunaya ko pino kanta shrito gopi bhava rasam amritam lahari kalola magno muhur vande rupa sanatana rago yugo Sri Jiva Gopalako. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Rupa Natha Goswami, Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, and Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who cast off all aristocratic association as insignificant. To deliver poor, conditioned souls, they accepted loincloths and became mendicants, but they were always merged in the ecstatic ocean of the gopis' love for Krishna, and they were always bathing repeatedly in the waves of that ocean, the ocean of love. The words, Kopina Kantar Ashrito, indicate that the Goswamis were simply wearing underwear and a loincloth and nothing else. In other words, they accepted the poorest way of life as mendicants. Generally, if one is habituated to live according to a high standard, he cannot immediately lower his standard. If a rich man accepts such a poor condition, he cannot live. But the Goswamis lived very happily. How was this possible? Gopi Bhava Rasam Ritab Di Lahari Kalola Magno Muhur Vande Rupa Sanatano Raghu Yogo Sri Jiva Gopalako. They were actually rich because they were constantly dipping themselves in the ocean of the loving affairs of the gopis. If one simply thinks of the gopis, love for Krishna, one is not lost. There are many ways not to lose sight of Krishna. If we do not lose sight of Krishna, then we will not be lost. A person in Krishna consciousness certainly sees Lord Krishna everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is the manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. How does the devotee know that everything is the manifestation of Krishna's energies? First of all, a Krishna conscious person is a philosopher. If he sees a tree, he thinks, what is this tree? Then he sees that the tree has a material body, just as he has a material body, and that the tree is also a living entity. But due to the tree's past misdeeds, he has obtained such an abominable body that he cannot even move. The tree's body is material energy, and the devotee automatically questions, whose energy? Krishna's energy. Therefore, the tree is connected to Krishna. Being a living entity, the tree is part and parcel of Krishna. In this way, the Krishna conscious person does not see the tree, but sees Krishna present. That is Krishna consciousness. You don't see the tree, you see Krishna. That is the perfection of yoga, and that is also samadhi. Krishna consciousness is the development of love of Krishna, a position transcendental even to material liberation. Why does the Krishna consciousness person take such an account of the tree? Because he has love for Krishna. If you love your child and your child is away, you think of him when you see his shoes. You think, oh, this is my dear child's shoes. It is not that you love the shoe, but the child. The shoe, however, evokes that love. Similarly, as soon as we see Krishna's energy manifested in a living entity, we love that entity because we love Krishna. Therefore, if we love Krishna, universal love is accounted for. Otherwise, universal love is nonsensical because it is not possible to love everybody without loving Krishna. If we love Krishna, universal love is automatically there. Without being Krishna conscious, a person may say, here is my American brother and here is my Indian brother. Now let us eat this cow. Such a person may look on other humans as brothers, but he looks on the cow as food. Is this universal love? A Krishna conscious person, however, thinks, oh, here is a cow, here is a dog. They are part and parcel of Krishna, but somehow or other they have acquired different bodies. This does not mean that they are not my brothers. How can I kill and eat my brothers? That is true universal love, rooted in love for Krishna. Without such Krishna consciousness, there is no question of love at all. Krishna consciousness is the stage beyond self-realization in which the devotee becomes one with Krishna in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee and the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. An intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotee then exists. In that stage, the living entity attains his immortality, nor is the personality of Godhead ever out of sight of the devotee. To merge in Krishna is spiritual annihilation. A devotee takes no such risk. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita 538, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, Santak Sadaiva Hitayesu Vilokayanti, Yam Shama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam, Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who was always seen by the devotee, whose eyes are anointed with the pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Shama Sundara, situated within the heart of the devotee. One who has developed such a love for Krishna sees Shama Sundara, Karta Mesana, always within his heart. At this stage, Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. In the case of a yogi who sees the Lord as Paramatma within the heart, the same applies. Such a yogi turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself. This is the real process by which we can see God. God is not our order supplier. We cannot demand, come and show yourself. No. We first have to qualify ourselves. Then we can see God at every moment and everywhere. Sarvabhuta stitam yo mam, bhajati ekatvam astita, sarvata vart amanopi sa yogi mahi vartate. The yogi who knows that I and the supersoul within all creatures are one worships me and remains always in me in all circumstances. Bhagavad Gita 6.31. The yogi who is practicing meditation on the Supreme Soul sees within himself the plenary portion of Krishna as Vishnu, with 4 hands holding a conch shell, a wheel, a club, and lotus flower. This manifestation of Vishnu, which is the yogi's object of concentration, is Krishna's plenary portion, as stated in Brahma Samhita 5.48, Yasyaika nisvasitakalam atavalambya, jivanti loma vilaja jaganandanata, Vishnur mahansa ihayasya kala visesho, Govinda Madhipurisham tamaham bhajami. The Brahmas and other lords of the mundane worlds appear from the pores of Mahavishnu and remain alive for the duration of his one exhalation. I adore the primeval Lord, Govinda, for Mahavishnu is a portion of his plenary portion. The word Govindam Adipurisham Tamaham Bhajami, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, are most important. The word Adi means original, and Purisham means the Lord as the original male, the original enjoyer, and who is this Govinda, whose plenary portion is the Mahavishnu. And what is the function of the Mahavishnu? In every universe, there is a primary, original living entity known as Brahma. The life of Brahma is the life of the universe, and this life exists during only one breathing period, exhalation and inhalation of the Mahavishnu. The Mahavishnu lies on the causal ocean, and when he exhales, millions of universes issue from his body as bubbles and then develop. When the Mahavishnu inhales, these millions of universes return within him. And this is called the process of annihilation. That, in essence, is the position of these material universes. They come out from the body of Mahavishnu and then again return. In the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita 9.7, it is also indicated that these material universes are manifest at a certain period and are then annihilated. Sarvabhutani konteya, prakritim yanti mamikam, kalpashaye punastani, kalpa dovishrajami aham. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, every material manifestation enters into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I again create. The creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material cosmic manifestation are completely dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead. At the end of the millennium means at the death of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years, and his one day is calculated as 4,300,000,000,000,000,000 years of our earthly years. Well, his night is of the same duration. His month consists of 30 such days and nights, and his year of 12 months. After 100 such years, when Brahma dies, the devastation or annihilation takes place. This means that the energy manifested by the Supreme Lord is again wound up in himself. That is the Mahavishnu. That is the Mahavishnu. That is the Mahavishnu inhales. Then again, when there is need to manifest the cosmic world, it is done by his will. Although I am one, I shall become many, says Krishna. This is the Vedic aphorism. He expands himself in his material energy, and the whole cosmic manifestation again takes place. Since the entire creation and annihilation of the material universes depend on the exhaling and inhaling of the Mahavishnu, we can hardly imagine the magnitude of that Mahavishnu. And yet it is said here that this Mahavishnu is but a plenary portion of the plenary portion of Krishna, who is the original Govinda. The Mahavishnu enters into each universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Garbhodakshay Vishnu further expands as Shirodakshay Vishnu. And it is this Vishnu form that enters into the heart of every living entity. In this way, Vishnu is manifest throughout the creation. Thus, the yogis concentrate their mind on the Shirodakshay Vishnu form within the heart. As stated in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita 18.61, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hirdese Rijunatistati Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantarudrani Mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Thus, according to the yogic process, the yogi finds out where the Shirodakshay Vishnu is seated within the heart, and when he finds this form there, he concentrates on him. The yogi should know that this Vishnu is not different from Krishna. Krishna is this form of Supersoul. Krishna in this form of Supersoul is situated in everyone's heart. Furthermore, there is no difference between the innumerable Supersouls present in the innumerable hearts of living entities. For example, there is only one sun in the sky, but this sun may be reflected in the millions of buckets of water. Or one may ask millions and trillions of people, where is the sun? And each will say, over my head. The sun is one, but it is reflected countless times. According to the Vedas, the living entities are innumerable. There is no possibility of counting them, just as the sun can be reflected in countless buckets of water. Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can live in each and every one's heart. It is this form that is Krishna's plenary portion, and it is this form on which the yogi concentrates. One who is engaged in Krishna consciousness is already a perfect yogi. In fact, there is no difference between a Krishna conscious devotee. Uh, there is no difference between a Krishna conscious devotee always engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna and a perfect yogi engaged in meditation on the supersoul. There is no difference between a yogi in samadhi, in a trance meditating on the Vishnu form, and a Krishna conscious person engaged in different activities. The devotee, even though engaged in various activities while in material existence, remains always situated in Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Srila Rupa Goswami. Nikhilas Vapiyavasta Su, Chivan Mukta Sa Uchyate. A devotee of the Lord, always acting in Krishna consciousness, is automatically liberated. This is also confirmed in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 14.26. Mam chayo vipacharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunam samatityaitan brahmabhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Thus, the devotee engaged in unalloyed devotional service has already transcended the material modes of nature. Being situated on the Brahman platform means being liberated. There are three platforms: the bodily or sensual, the mental, and the spiritual. The spiritual platform is called Brahman platform, and liberation means being situated on that platform. Being conditioned souls, we are presently situated on the bodily or sensual platform. Those who are a little advanced, speculators, philosophers, are situated on the mental platform. Above this is the platform of liberation, of Brahman realization. That the devotee, always acting in Krishna consciousness, is automatically situated on the liberated platform of Brahman is also confirmed in the Narada Pancharatra. Dik kaladi anavacheni Krishna cheta vidaya cha tan mayo bhavati shripam jivo brahmani yojayet. By concentrating one's attention on this transcendental form of Krishna, who is all-pervading and beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Jai Shri Radha Nila Madhava Ki Jai. And then attains the happy state of transcendental association with him. Krishna consciousness is the highest stage of trance in yoga practice. This very understanding that Krishna is present as Paramatma in everyone's heart makes the yogi faultless. The Vedas confirm this inconceivable potency of the Lord as follows. Ekopi san bahuda yo vabhati aishvaryad rupam ekam cha suravad bahu deyate. Vishnu is one, and yet he is certainly all-pervading. By his inconceivable potency, in spite of his one form, he is present everywhere. As the sun, he appears in many places at once. Atmopam myena sarvatra saman pasyati yo rejana sukham va yadiva dukham sa yogi paramo mata. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his own self, sees the true equality of all beings, both in their happiness and distress. O Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita 6.32. This is true universal vision. It is not that God is sitting in my heart and not in the heart of a dog, cat, or cow. Sarvabhutanam means that he is sitting in the hearts of all living entities, in the human heart and in the ant's heart. The only difference is that cats and dogs cannot realize this. A human being, if he tries to follow the Sankhya Yoga or Bhakti Yoga system, is able to understand, and this is the prerogative of human life. If we miss this opportunity, we suffer a great loss, for we have undergone the evolutionary process and have passed through more than 8 million species of life in order to get to this human form. We should therefore be conscious of this and careful not to miss this opportunity. We have a good body, the human form, and intelligence and civilization. We should not live like animals and struggle hard for existence, but should utilize our time thinking peacefully and understanding our relationship with the Supreme Lord. This is the instruction of Bhagavad Gita. Don't lose this opportunity. Utilize it properly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. You see how eloquent Srila Prabhupada is and how perfect his speaking is. You know, it's unbelievable. Any questions anyone has? It's a wonderful book, you know, Perfection, The Path to Perfection. You have this book? Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a wonderful book. This, what? Okay. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Say that again? Yes. Yeah. Well, if you merge into the body of Krishna, right, that's one thing. But if you are envious of Krishna, then that type of merging is catastrophic. You will not be blessed by Krishna. So when you have demons that merge into the body of the Lord, they become purified, yeah, because anything that touches Krishna will become purified. Right? So, but it's much better to love Krishna than to merge into Krishna. When you love Krishna, there's love and devotion that's shared between the lover and the loved. That is the real, let's say, real purpose of life. If we simply merge into Krishna, as the Mayavadis want to do, that will not really be a permanent situation. But when you love Krishna and are unfailing in your love for Krishna, that becomes eternal. And in every situation, you will be always remembering Krishna, and you'll go back to Godhead. So we have to be careful. See, some people would say, well, what's wrong with merging into God? Then I become God. No, that's not true. So it's better to love God and become the servant of God. That's eternal relationship with Krishna. Merging into Krishna is going to be a temporary thing. It might last for a long time, but ultimately, you will not go back to Godhead. You'll have to, again, take a body and start all over, you know. But here, especially here, what does it say here? It says, by concentrating one's attention on the transcendental form of Krishna, who is all-pervading and beyond time and space, one becomes absorbed in thinking of Krishna and then attains the happy state of transcendental association with Krishna. Well, now that's what we should aim for. Krishna consciousness is the highest stage of trance in yoga practice. This very understanding that Krishna is present as Paramatma in everyone's heart makes the yogi faultless. The Vedas confirm this inconceivable potency of the Lord as follows. Ekopi san bahuda yo vabhati aishvaryad rupam ekam cha suryavad bahudena denate. Vishnu is one, and yet he is certainly all-pervading. By his inconceivable potency, in spite of his one form, he is present everywhere. As the sun, he appears in many places at once. Okay, so we should be searching Krishna and engage in devotional service to the Lord as the servant of the Lord. That should be our consciousness. So if we engage in serving Krishna in this lifetime, we'll be liberated. Go back to Godhead. So that should be our purpose. Now there are other issues of or ways of being connected to Krishna, but it all begins by surrendering ourselves to Krishna in the association of a bona fide guru and devotees. And then we begin our relationship with Krishna. And that relationship is progressive. It's not static, it's progressive. So we can go from loving Krishna as a friend or loving Krishna as a servant and so forth. So there are many different ways of sharing love with Krishna. You have any other questions? Huh? Every atom. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah. We can't understand. We don't understand how miraculous the expansions of Krishna are. We don't understand it, but you can learn it if you hear it spoken by genuine devotees in bona fide scriptures. Like this is a bona fide scripture, right? So when you hear this, you say, "Wow, I can't imagine." You know, that Krishna is present in every part of the body. He's not present in one part, every part, right? And there are billions of parts in the body. Right? So then we begin to understand how great Krishna is. And by the way, that's the reason why things work in nature. Because Krishna is present in every atom of the universe. Therefore, things work. You know, every day the sun comes out. And then later on it sets. Actually, it never sets. But, you know, and then there's rain, and then there's vegetables growing, and then there's this and that. All that is controlled by Krishna, and he's present in all those things. Just imagine what power he has to be able to do this. Yeah. No one is equal to or greater than Krishna. Everyone is subordinate. And Krishna's energies are unending. Yeah. Little by little, we begin to understand this. This is a good book, Path of Perfection. It explains a lot of things like this. Yeah. It says here, Vishnu is one, and yet he is certainly all-pervading. That means he's situated everywhere, although he's one. By his inconceivable potency, in spite of his one form, he is present everywhere. As the sun, he appears in many places at once. There you go, you see. So to understand Krishna is not easy because he is present everywhere and in everything. So this is like, you know, real transcendental knowledge about who Krishna is. They don't teach this in philosophy classes and things like that. They don't. They get confused by hearing this. Okay, oh, glory to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. They don't talk about this. The great yogis and the great philosophers, they don't talk about this because they're envious of Krishna. They're envious of Krishna. They ignore talking about Krishna. Haribol. You only hear this in Prabhupada's books. You don't hear this in anybody else's books.